everyone, and welcome to another Blue Sun game. If I know, I apologize. This channel has been Gabe and Blue Sun non-stop, but I am preparing for the upcoming store championships, and it looks like it's going to be a very competitive one. So I best get down to practice. So do bear with me as I play these old decks. And the matchup is pretty stale as well. I'm up against Kate, which I really can't ask for a better opponent. As I said, I'm teching against Kate, so this should be a pretty good indicator of how well my deck does in the store champs. Now, as you can see in my opening and mulligan hands, there are a total of 0 gold boxes, which means that all my cards suck. Yes, I mulligan from a horrible hand into a bad hand. There's there's exactly one good thing I can say about my mulligan hand, and that is that there are no agendas in there. The only potential in my opening hand is if I draw into an Oversight AI as my mandatory draw, which I obviously don't. So my only option here is to take a credit and install 2 ice, hoping he doesn't run them. He doesn't. Very good. He's playing passively. He's playing Earthrise Hotel, which means he wants to build up, like some Kates do. This might be Big Rig Kate. I'm not going to complain. So I do find a small ice off the top of Jackson. Still no Oversight AIs. So what I do is to install the Enigma over the Jackson. You cannot overstate how important it is to protect your Jacksons, even if you're not running Sea Scorch. I definitely need the Jackson this game to help me draw into my Oversight AIs. I definitely need 1 copy of that to get started. So this is why I need to protect my Jackson. And yeah, having the Jackson there to save me from agenda flood is also pretty important. Speaking of agenda flood, there are no agendas at all. There are no agendas at all. I drew with Jackson twice. I've drawn 13 cards on my deck already. 0 agendas. So it's getting very scary. If he hits R&D, he's probably going to see an agenda. Probably a big one. So thankfully, because I was able to draw the hedge fund from the previous Jackson, I'm now able to rest the Hadrians on R&D, which is pretty crucial to keeping him out. At this point, I draw myself a corporate wall. I decide that my remote server is safe enough, so I'm going to attempt to score the corporate wall. If I can get it out, this will be huge because it will boost my credits. It will give me a huge boost of credits, which I need considering that I don't have my Oversight AI. And he probably cannot get in. Yeah, Hadrian's Wall into an Enigma should stop him. But he installs a clone chip, he plays Lucky Find, and he runs. With an SMC and a clone chip both at hand, he's able to tutor up 2 solutions and score the corporate troubleshooter, which was very painful for me. This shouldn't have happened. Oh gosh. So this basically turned the tides of the entire game because instead of me scoring 2 points and being on 3 points, he is now in the agenda point lead, and you cannot afford to give up agendas like that to Kate, which is a very strong opponent. So yes, I'm in huge trouble now, and to make matters worse, he's about to barge into my R&D with an R&D interface equipped. Oh dear. This is not going to end well. He's going to see 2 new cards, one of which is a Project Atlas. So the game is going out of control. It costs him 4 credits to break Hadrian's Wall. -1 because of hostile takeover. Oh wait, make that -2 because I just got my second hostile takeover. This probably is a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done was to play my hedge fund and then ice up R&D even more. So with 2 bad publicity, I'm going to struggle defending R&D a lot. And I know that he plays Lucky Find, so I'm not going to be able to stop him from sieging my R&D easily. So what I do right now is to install more barriers on R&D, hoping that he cannot break them easily with Cerberus Lady. I find a Hive, and that goes on R&D as well. So basically now my R&D taxes him for 4 Cerberus tokens. Hive costs 2 tokens, and the Hadrian's Wall costs 1 each. So now I'm not battling him in a war of credits. I'm fighting his Cerberus Lady. Hopefully he won't be able to lady his way through my server. In the meantime, I get my daily business show up and running, and I finally draw into my Oversight AI with that draw. That was important. So now I have to decide which ice to use my Oversight on. I decide to use it on the Hadrian's Wall. Curtain Wall is obviously a better choice. However, he has the Cerberus Lady out and he has money. So it would be very stupid to put the Oversight on my HQ. Instead, I'm going to place it on R&D. It will not not be contested unless he can break the hive, which means he needs 2 Cerberus tokens and another one to deal my Hadrian's Wall, which he cannot afford. So that's very good news for me. This forces him out of my server, and I get my Hadrian's Wall back along with my credits. So now I have the Ash in my remote server with the daily business show, and I insert the Archer in for more goodies. And at this point, I decided that since my Archer was in the server, it's only right that my corporate troubleshooter goes along with it. So now I have an Ash and a corporate troubleshooter guarding my daily business show. It's overprotected and looks like he bit on the bait. Yes, he will get program trash. He will get hit by Archer. All I need to do is to pump Archer up to 11 strength, which is out of range of the 10 strength dagger that he can potentially reach. So here's the tough part. Which 2 programs will you trash with Archer? 2 cloaks, a refractor, a half expanded lady, and a dagger. The daggers are an obvious choice. This prevents him from running through my Archer again until he finds some form of recursion. Whether trashing lady was the right choice or not, I do not know, because in the event that he runs only 1 Cerberus lady, he can easily get the one that I just trashed back with a clone chip. This is something he cannot do if the lady is left on board. And anyway, a single Cerberus lady with 2 tokens on it is pretty useless. My R&D requires 3 tokens to get through, so trashing the lady doesn't actually do much. So I'm not sure if that was a correct play. Well, the game goes on, and I install a Christian grid on HQ. And here I find that trashing lady was the right choice, because if I didn't do that, he would have scavenged the lady for another 4 tokens. Here I forced him to install his Mimic before he could scavenge it for lady, which cost him 2 extra credits, so that's good. But this doesn't stop him from getting through my R&D and seeing 4 cards. Yes, 4 cards. He has 3 R&D defenses out, and he won the game by stealing my geothermal fracking. Or not. Nope. He has 6 points. So the game's not over yet, but I'm in critical condition. Yes, this is not looking good for me at all. Even though I've found my second Oversight AI, it's not going to do much. So I decided that he cannot contest my remote at all because he doesn't have dagger out. Even if he finds his dagger, it costs him both of his stealth credits to get through, and I can stop him with the Ash Trace, being much richer than him. So I feel very confident with double advancing the Atlas. My remote server is very secure. The problem is stopping him from getting through my R&D. That is something I need to stop right now. So instead of scoring out the Atlas, I'm going to Oversight AI the Curtain Wall. This should provide many more subroutines for him to deal with, hopefully out of reach of his Cerberus lady. If I can completely seal him out of R&D, I more or less have the game wrapped up. With no agendas in hand, he's forced to contest my remote, and he won't be able to get through the Archer that many times. So he does not contest my Curtain Wall because he only has 1 token left on Cerberus lady. So I get to bounce it back, and it goes back on R&D, obviously. In the meantime, he installs a clone chip and gains more money. Nope, he's pretty poor. So at this point, it's time to score the Atlas. It's time to trigger the Atlas train. By overscoring an Atlas, I can tutor another Project Atlas and basically win within 3 turns from now. It's still a pretty slow train, but it should be doable, and there's nothing he can stop me from, because even if he digs through my R&D, I can break through the R&D lock with Project Atlas. Unfortunately, he scavenged his Cerberus lady once more, and I'm not able to tax him out of the server. Why? Because Curtain Wall requires 2 tokens, Hadrian's Wall requires 1 token, and Hive now only requires 1 token instead of 2 because I just got the Atlas. If I did not score the Atlas, he wouldn't be able to get through the server because his Cerberus only has 4 tokens on it, and it would require 5 tokens for him to get through. The most I can do right now is to tutor up an agenda, in this case Corporate War, but he still hits another agenda, 2 agendas to rub the salt in and win the game. So that was basically a huge misplay. Why did I score the Atlas so recklessly? I should have left it in the remote server where it was so safe you won't even believe it. There's no way he's going to break through the Archer twice because he doesn't run Sharpshooter. It's quite obvious. All I need to do is check his heap, and he won't be able to make it 2 runs through the server consecutively against Archer. 1 run already taxes Cloak back the two cloaks badly enough. He won't be able to make 2 runs, and even then, he still has to get through the curtain wall, which costs 2 Cerberus tokens at the end of it. So, yeah, huge misplay that definitely cost me the game. Very unfortunate, because I really think that I reached a state where I was almost able to lock Kate out of my server, and that says a lot. Locking a shaper out, a big rig shape. It's not exactly big rig, but stealth makes it pretty efficient. So hopefully I've exposed some weaknesses in Cerberus Lady, a fractor that came in the lunar cycle and took everyone by storm because it's such a good fractor in the Shaper faction. You can actually tech Cerberus to death if you are well equipped with it, and no Corp does this better than Blue Sun, because the best barriers are in your faction and you can jiggle the ice around to your advantage. Unfortunately, I was not able to use this to my advantage because I misplayed the hell out of it. So that's very unfortunate, but it was still a very good game, and I've learned a lot from it. Thanks for watching, and happy net running. Goodbye.